What advice do you offer to young people who are wanting to get into the industry? What are some of the tools that you teach and tell them?
Well, it's getting harder now because, again, the social media. Social media has people believing that you can get an app or you can take the latest equipment that will do everything for you and become a filmmaker, become a big celebrity. And you know what? In some instances, it does work. But what's missing for career development is reality training. In other words, I tell people, if I use apps for filmmaking, I use Sunseeker, I use all these wonderful things to do what I do that weren't in existence when I was a filmmaker starting out. But I use them because they speed up the process, they help me figure out things. But if you don't know how to do what the app does before you use the app is using you. In order to be efficient in using these apps, you got to know, like Photoshop is wonderful, but you got to understand what contrast is. You got to understand what composition means. You got to understand the golden mean. You got to understand the functioning concept of composition. And no app can teach you that. An app can do it for you, but you got to know what it means. You got to know aperture. You got to know all these things. And most of these, I was an artist in resident at a historically black college, Morgan State University, for 3 years. And I noticed that these kids, seniors, didn't have a reel. They want to graduate and get a job in news or whatever it is, doing whatever they do, journalism. They didn't have a reel. I said, what do you mean you don't have a reel? You're junior. The system is not set up to spawn creativity. It's set up to give you information. They won't even allow you to take a course in your major the first 2 years you're in college. Why? Why can't you go into a college your first year and start studying composition and frame and all this stuff, aptures? Most of these kids, we get them together and we say, all right, we're going to shoot a project. Take that C-stand and put it up over there. And they grab this piece of metal, weighs 10 pounds, 15 pounds. They don't know what to do with it. And they'll hurt themselves because it's made out of steel. So they don't know how to put up a C-stand. You say, bring me an apple box. They bring you an apple. No, an apple box. It's a piece of wood. Give me a half apple, quarter apple. They don't know because nobody's teaching them in these college programs the essentials, the basic. Now you say, do you really need to know that? Yeah, you really need to know. If you're going to be a director or a filmmaker, you need to know everything, a little bit about it, everything that everybody does on your set if you're going to save your money, if you're going to get it done properly. You don't have to be doing it as well. Matter of fact, if I'm doing something and I can do whatever I've hired somebody to do better than they can, I won't hire them. I want to hire people who do stuff like that a lot better than I do it. See, together we can build something great. If everybody is as I say, it seems to me today that through social media, everybody is trying to reach the highest level of mediocrity that they can reach.
Yeah.
And that's not the secret to longevity in this business. You have to be superior. You have to be better than the best. You have to really know your craft inside and out. You have to study it constantly. I'm always studying. I'm always looking at a new way to do something. I see an app. I go, what does this app do? Oh, now how do you do that in the real world without the app? What is the app saying to me? What is it that I'm lacking that this app is taking up? Now, if the app gives me the ability to do it faster and economically, I'm all over that app. But I got to know what that app does. I got to know how composition. I got to know contrast. I got to know aperture, the right speed, all that stuff are the basics that you have to know. When I started out, before I started out in show business, a gentleman who passed away a month ago taught me how to develop film, how to print with an enlarger, how to pan and dodge contrast. He taught me all that. He taught me composition with a little old camera with film. Well, he taught me that when I was 18, 19 years old. I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have directed the movie I just directed had that man not taught me the basics. And so the thing I say to young people today is, yes, this is a great business. You can make money, you can get fame and fortune, but You've been given a very powerful opportunity. You've been blessed with a certain amount of passion for something. Learn everything you can about it. Work with the masters. Copy the masters. Don't copy nobody who's mediocre. Copy somebody. If you want to direct a movie, don't look at somebody who's done some crap. Look at Orson Welles. You know, look at John Ford. Look at look at the people who Spike Lee. Look at Ivan. Look at these people who have done stuff at the highest level of performance level that you can get. You look at those people and steal from them. Don't steal from mediocre people. You know, steal from the best at what it is you want to do. Design, comedy, the best.
Yeah.
That's where you start. And getting young people today to do that is hard to do because they're so enthralled and they've been brought into this stable of mediocrity where these apps are the giants. You know, using and putting light, on a subject. I always get on them when we shoot a film. I said, okay, if you're in Hollywood and you're shooting 10-1, 15-1 to get one shot that you can use in the film, you shoot it 10, 15 times, you'll be fired immediately. You got to shoot 3-5 at best, because in the old days it was film. It cost money and somebody had to look at every frame. Today, kids are shooting 20, 30-1 because these digital cameras and everything. Well, who's going to look at all that stuff? Nobody. So the editor has the responsibility of your vision because you've given that editor too much to choose from. So he's going to do the film. The editor is the filmmaker, not the guy who's shooting it, if you do that. So if you want to have control of your film, you've got to be really into it. You got to be thinking like an editor while you're shooting like a filmmaker. You got to be thinking like a DP while you're saying to the DP, when I walk out on the set, everybody's waiting for me to say, where is the camera? I'll say, the camera is here. That's when all action starts. Makeup, wardrobe, everything is start. The DP is like, well, where's the sun? Well, if you want to shoot there, you better turn over here because that sun's going to hit you. All that stuff happens after I say, this is where the camera goes. And young people need to know that. And that's what we teach in our class. Not class, in our coming together. Really, it's not a class. It's we all get together for a few weeks and we make a project together. And many of them have been with me. Matter of fact, there are now some who will come and talk in my class. They'll come and put on lessons about how they got through the program.